Good morning, children. Welcome back. In the previous videos, we have studied about the nomenclature of carbon compounds and we have seen some physical properties of carbon compounds. And in today's video, we will see about chemical properties of carbon compounds. Okay, so first chemical property is of combustion. Combustion means what? The carbon compounds burn in oxygen to form water, carbon dioxide, heat and light. Okay, see the example. Carbon is getting combined with O2 molecule forms CO2, that is carbon dioxide, and it gives heat plus light. Okay, next is CH4, that is methane. It gets combined with oxygen molecules, it gets water, carbon dioxide, heat and light. Okay, for this reaction you can consider of what you can say, the reaction taking place in the biogas or in the gutters, what you smell. Okay, so there what it happens, the methane gets combined with the oxygen and has a combustion. If you put a lighter or a what you can say, if you put a heat over there, or you just keep your hand over that biogas, you will feel some heat over coming outside it. So this is because of combustion. Okay, the last example you can see is of ethyl alcohol. It gets combines with oxygen to form again water, carbon dioxide, heat plus light. Okay, so the main general reaction you have to remember is carbon is getting combined with oxygen, and it compulsory it gives carbon dioxide, heat plus light, and also some in some cases it gives water as a byproduct. Okay, so you can see over there that 2 is written, 3 is written in front. I hope you have covered this topic in 9th standard, and I will not repeat that again. Okay, if you insist to do it me, please let me know in the group so that I can take a separate video of balancing chemical equations. Okay, I'll do it for you, but if you want, then only I'll send the video of balancing the chemical equations. Okay, I hope you have learned it in the 9th standard, so I'll not repeat now. Okay, so next chemical property is oxidation. The carbon oxidation means what? You're adding again the oxygen to it. Okay, so carbon compounds like alcohols, we'll take the example of alcohol here. Alcohols are oxidized to carboxylic acid, that is they are adding oxygen to the alcohols and they are making carboxylic acids. Heating with oxygen. So from where the oxygen will come? Are they going to take from the air? No. So they are adding oxygens with the help of oxidizing agents like alkaline potassium permanganate, that is KMnO4, or acidic potassium dichromate, that is K2Cr2O7. Okay, see the example. Alcohols are oxidized to carboxylic acid. We will take the example of ethanol. It is example of alcohol. Okay, it goes under the reaction, that is they are adding KMnO4 or potassium dichromate to it and they are heating it. After the few minutes you can get the ethanoic acid, that is CH3 C double bond OH. You get the ethanoic acid. You have the functional group in it. In now onwards you must think, you'll always think about the functional group when you see this OH double bond OH. Okay, you have to think about it, then and then only you will learn what are the functional groups in it. Okay, you'll not just study for the exams or writing the answers in the exam. Okay, you have to remember it because all these functional groups are present upon your medicine bottles also. Okay, if you notice sometimes you just check the bottles or the tablets, you have the functional groups or the you have the formulas written over it. Okay, so They do not give you that this contains alcohol, this contains acid, this contains aldehyde, this contains ketone. No, they give the formula over there, and it has a functional group in it, so you can recognize or you can see which functional group is present. On that basis you can determine that is it acidic, is it basic, it is alcoholic, or what else properties can be determined with this functional group. Okay, so please remember that you have to study the functional groups. Okay, so moving on, next we will go towards the addition reaction. Now we are taking here the unsaturated carbon. You know the unsaturated carbon atoms and saturated carbon atoms. So now I have to do that. I want to remove this all double bond and triple bond, and I want to make it saturated hydrocarbons. So what I'll do? Unsaturated means what? They are removing the hydrogens from it. Correct. So if hydrogens are gone, where the bonds will go? They'll go to the carbon atoms. Correct. So now what I am doing? I want to remove this bond. Okay. I want them to be single bonded. Okay. So what I'll do now? I'll return again them their hydrogen atoms. So I am hydrogenating it. So this is called addition reaction. Okay. The unsaturated hydrocarbons undergo addition reaction with the hydrogen in presence of nickel or palladium as catalyst to form saturated hydrocarbons. I hope you know what is catalyst. Okay, catalyst is used to increase the speed of the reaction. Okay, which the reaction whichever is used is taking, if it is taking 15 minutes, then using a catalyst it completes the reaction within the 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so you will take the example of ethene. Ethene undergoes addition reaction with hydrogen to form ethane in presence of nickel or palladium as catalyst. Okay, see the first reaction. The molecular formula C2H4 plus H2 in the presence of catalyst gives C2H6. Okay, that is ethane. Ethene is converted into ethane. Okay, that is alkene is converted into alkane. The double bond is converted into single bond. You can see there the double bond is gone in the product. Correct. The hydrogen atoms were not there in the first reactant, and then the two hydrogen atoms came in the product. So the addition of hydrogen to unsaturated hydrocarbons to form saturated hydrocarbons is called hydrogenation. Hydrogenation is used to convert unsaturated oils and fats to the saturated oils and fats. Correct. So consuming more hydrogenated oils and fats is very harmful to us. So we generally prefer unsaturated fats. Okay, we do not consume more saturated fat because they are having more hydrogen in it, and it is very what we can say, the carbon hydrogen bonds are very strong and they are not easily breakable. Okay, so it gets it gets deposited in our body. Okay, and which leads to the very harmful effects in our body. So we prefer unsaturated oils and saturated oils. Okay, next is a substitution reaction. Saturated hydrocarbons undergo substitution reaction with halogens to form substitution products. Substitution means what? Okay, from me I am giving something you, and from you I am taking something. Okay, this is called substitution reaction. See the formula of methane over there. Methane undergoes substitution reaction with chlorine in the presence of sunlight to form substitution products. Okay, what is happening there? The CH4 molecule is there. Okay, the CH4 gets combined with chlorine. Now what he is doing? He is giving his one hydrogen molecule to the chlorine. Now what it happens? And he is he's taking one chlorine atom from chlorine and he's forming CH3Cl, and the Cl has taken one H from the methane, so it forms HCl. Okay, this reaction continues till there is no hydrogen atom in the methane. Okay, see the reactions. CH4 is converted into CH3Cl. Now this CH3Cl again converts into CH2Cl2. This CH2Cl2 is again converted into CHCl3, and the last, the CHCl3 is converted into CCl4, that is carbon tetrachloride. Okay. Now on basis of this reactions, the two compounds are formed, that is ethanol and ethanoic acid. Correct? So these are very important in our day-to-day life. So ethanol has its molecular formula C2H5OH. It is known as ethyl alcohol. Next, the properties are ethanol is colorless liquid with a pleasant smell and burning taste, as it is a alcohol. Okay, it is soluble in water. Ethanol reacts with sodium to form sodium ethoxide and hydrogen. Now tell me, ethoxide means what? It is having ether. Correct? Functional group is ether. C2H5OH plus sodium. It gives C2H5ONa, that is sodium ethoxide plus hydrogen. Okay. Next, ethanol reacts with hot concentrated sulfuric acid to form ethene and water. That is, concentrated sulfuric acid is a dehydrating agent and removes water from the ethanol. What he is doing is removing water. That is, the O will go from the, see the structural formula, C2H5OH. What will happen? The O and the H, one of the H, two H are going and one O is going. So C2H4 and H2O. One H and one O is removed from the C2H5OH. So it is forming C2H4 and gives water. Okay. So what are the uses of ethanol? Ethanol is used for making alcoholic drinks. It is used as a solvent. It is used for making medicines like tincture iodine, which you apply when you get hurt, then cough syrups and tonics. Okay, so you get why it is important in our day-to-day life. Next you have ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid is CH3C double bond OH, that is acidic acid. Okay. So properties are, ethanoic acid is a colorless liquid with a pungent smell and sour taste. Next, it is soluble in water. A solution of 5% to 8% ethanoic acid in water is called vinegar. Okay, this is a very important line. A solution of 5% to 8% ethanoic acid in water is called vinegar, which you use in a day-to-day life. Okay. So next chemical reaction is of esterification. Esterification is formation of ester. Ethanoic acid reacts with ethanol to form ester ethyl ethanoate in the presence of concentrated H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid. What is happening? The ethanoic acid, that is CH3C double bond OH, combines with the ethanol. Okay, it combines with the ethanol in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid and it forms ester ethyl ethanoate. Okay, and it gives water. The reaction between carboxylic acid and alcohol to form an ester is called esterification. Okay, here C2H5 is remained over there. Okay, what is happening is, see the formula. Okay, see the reaction. What is happening in it? CH3C double bond has remained the same. What is happened? The H from the CH3 double bond O and the O from the OH is removed and H2O is formed. Okay, what is removed from the CH3 double bond OH? Just the H is removed from the ethanoic acid and from the ethanol the O is OH is removed. Okay, what is going to remove? Again I am telling you, the H from the ethanoic acid is removed and OH group is removed from the C2H5. Okay, and this what we have removed is formed a water. Okay, and the remaining is a ester ethyl ethanoate. Next we have saponification. Saponification is the process which is used to make soaps. Therefore they are known as saponification. Okay, when an ester reacts with sodium hydroxide solution, the sodium salt of the carboxylic acid and the parent alcohol are formed. This reaction is called saponification. Okay, let's look towards the reaction. Ethyl ethanoate reacts, which we have formed in the first esterification reaction, correct? Ethyl ethanoate reacts with sodium hydroxide, that is NaOH, to form sodium acetate, and it gives ethyl alcohol, correct? See the reaction again. The product from the above reaction, that is esterification product, okay, ethyl ethanoate, that is combined with the sodium hydroxide. Okay, so now what is done? Again, okay, again the what you can say, the CH3 C double bond O is combined with, here the substitution reaction is taking place. What is happening? Substitution reaction. You take my C2H5 and give your Na. Okay, you take my C2H5 and give your sodium to me. So what he is doing? Ethyl ethanoate, please give me your sodium. So he is taking sodium, CH3 C double bond O Na, and he forms sodium acetate. And now he is giving OH to the C2H5, and he will form ethyl alcohol. Okay, did you understand the reaction? Okay, so next reaction we see, ethanoic acid reacts with bases to form salt and water. Okay, so the first one is ethanoic acid, then it combines with the bases, means again the sodium hydroxide. Again what he is doing? Please give me your Na, take my OH. What he is doing? Please give me your Na, please take my H. Okay, so CH3 C double bond O remains the same. He takes the sodium from the sodium hydroxide and gives his H to the remaining OH. So what it forms? H2O. Okay, next reaction, ethanoic acid reacts with carbonates and hydrogen carbonates to form salt, water and carbon dioxide. Again here what is happening? The ethanoic acid is combining with the Na2CO3. Here also what is happening? He is giving his H to the carbonate, and it is forming H2O and CO2. He is just taking the sodium from them. What is doing? He is just taking the sodium from them, and then the byproducts are formed as water and carbon dioxide. Okay, I hope I have given you this very simplified explanation of the reactions. Okay, please read it again and write it down in your notebook so that you can understand what are the reactions. Please do not learn the reactions, try to understand them. Okay, it is not so difficult. Okay, just look what is happening in the right hand side and what is happening in the left hand side. What has deleted, what has added from the left to the right. Just now what you have done, that तुम मेरा सोडियम ले लो, मैं तुम्हारा हाइड्रोजन ले लूँगा. Such types of dialogues also you can say while you are writing. Okay, do not make what you can say, the phobia of that reactions. They are very easy to understand. Just remember that you have to learn their structural and the functional formulas. Okay, we come to our last topic, that is soaps and detergents. Okay, so what are the soaps? Soaps are the long chain sodium or potassium salts of carboxylic acids. This example is sodium stearate. You do not have to remember the names or anything. Just remember what are the soap. That is a long chain of sodium or potassium salts of carboxylic acid. Okay, so see the structure of soap molecule. Okay, a soap molecule has two parts. A long hydrocarbon part, which is a hydrophobic. That is, phobic means phobia means you fear for that. So he fears for the water. It is hydrophobic, water repelling. It will not absorb water. And soluble in oil and grease, and short ionic part, which is hydrophilic, that is water attracting, that is it gets dissolved in water, and insoluble in oil and grease. Okay, see the two parts over there. Hydrocarbon part, that is water repelling, and ionic part, that is water attracting. So you can see there C double bond O and Na plus. Okay, the salts of carboxylic acid is of water repelling, that is it will not attract the water, and the ionic part is it will attract the water. Okay, so you get the basic thing about the soap. It has two parts. One is water attracting and the second is water repelling. Okay, so we will come towards the cleansing action of soap. So when soap is dissolved in water, it forms spherical structures called micelles. When soap is dissolved in water, it forms spherical structures called micelles. In each micelle, the soap molecules are arranged radially such that the hydrogen carbon part is or the hydrocarbon part is towards the center and ionic part is towards the outside. The hydrocarbon part dissolves the dirt, oil and grease and forms an emulsion at the center of micelles, which can be washed away by the water. You can see in the next slide. See, the soap micelle is forming over there. Okay, in the center what you can see, the soap micelle is formed. Okay, in this soap micelle, in the center you have the, what you can say, the water repelling part, means the water does not attract towards this part. And at the periphery, okay, so at the circumference part you have the water attracting molecules. Okay, so what is happening over there, the dirt or the soap or the whatever oil, grease, whatever is there, it gets attracted towards the, what you can say, soap micelle and traps the dirt particles. Okay, and then it is washed away with the water, as all the water attracting molecules attracts the water and then the dirt is removed from the clothes. Okay, so here the soap and the mechanism of soap is over. Now we come towards the detergents. Detergents are long chain sodium salts of sulfonic acids. The soaps were of carboxylic acids, and here the detergents are of sulfonic acids. Soaps do not wash well with hard water because it forms insoluble precipitates of calcium and magnesium salts in hard water. Now, where the calcium and magnesium came from? Yes, it came from the hard water. So, hard water contains the salts of calcium and magnesium, which gets precipitated with the soap. So, the soaps do not work good with the hard water. But the detergents wash well with the hard water because it does not form insoluble precipitates of calcium and magnesium salts in the hard water. You can see the differentiate between them. Soaps are the sodium salts of fatty acids. Detergents are the sodium salts of sulfonic acid. Fatty acid means carboxylic acid. The soaps clean well in soft water but do not clean well in hard water. Detergents clean well with both hard and soft water. Soaps do not clean as well as detergents. Okay, detergents clean better than the soaps. Soaps are biodegradable and do not cause pollution. But some detergents are non-biodegradable and cause pollution. Correct? So, which is better? The detergents are not better because they cause pollution. So the soaps are good. Okay. So here we finish our chapter number 4, that is carbon and its compounds. So now what you have to do? You have to read the lesson carefully, and then you have to underline all the definitions which I have completed in all these videos. Write down the functional groups, write down the chemical reactions, write down all the definitions you saw, write down the distinguishes between them, write down the chains, write down the branch chains, write down all the tabular format I have given, that is the structure of methane, ethane, propane, butane, and learn them. Okay, learn the names till butane. From pentane you can say it good, and learn the characteristics, the uses of all the, that is we have studied, that is ethanol and ethanoic acid, and the function of soap. Okay, thank you children.